Hi, I'm out for a walk in Riverside Park in New York City. We have a lovely forced perspective view there down the promenade in Riverside Park. And whenever I'm in a forced perspective place like this, it can be a long hallway, it can be a street promenade like this, I always get really present for some reason. And today, as I got present, I was reminded that I wanted to tell you a story about how I came to use mindfulness and mental fitness in my work life and why. So it goes back a few years to when I had a middle management job in a company in the HR department. And it was a crazy-making environment. It was one of the most truly insane places I had ever worked. And if there are any of my colleagues from that period watching this, they'll probably know where I'm talking about, because it was crazy for everybody. And one of the things that would happen with some frequency is a cluster of people would come galloping over to my desk and would make these requests for information or reports or a task to do something that was not necessarily in my job description, and they wouldn't take no for an answer. And so it was just, insane. And it was so stressful that at one point I decided to, almost in protest, just sit and be still for about 1 minute every hour. So I would set my clock, my little phone, actually, the clock on my phone, to ring at the top of every hour. And I would just sit and pause without trying to do anything at all. And as I said, this felt more like a protest than anything. And it felt so good that after a while I extended it to about 3 minutes. And then that felt so good that what I would do after the 3 minutes, at the end of the 3 minutes, I would move in slow motion. I would just move my hand very slowly and take something out of the inbox. I would look at a Post-it note and see what instruction was on there, and I'd read these documents and instructions carefully, and then I would slowly take the next action, whether it was putting my hands on the keyboard or picking up a telephone. And what was bizarre, what started as being a protest wound up making me so efficient that at the end of the day, that inbox was empty, those Post-it notes were done, my desk was clear, and I was leaving the office on time, empty-handed. It was totally bizarre. As a protest, it somewhat backfired on me. Well, let's say it had an unusual result. So after a while, I was talking to a friend of mine who happens to be a Zen Buddhist priest, and I was telling him what I was doing. So he just said, "Oh, you're meditating." And I said, "No, not really. I'm not really meditating." And he said, "Well, what are you doing during that moment of silence?" I said, I just kind of focus on my breath for the most part. I just make sure my mind is really quiet and I'm just feeling myself breathe. That's all I'm doing." And then he goes, "That's meditating." So it got me quite intrigued, and I kept up the behavior to the point where at the end of that year, I had earned over 100% of my bonus. It was on a management by objectives program, and I came within 110, 120% something, I can't remember, but it was more than 100%. And they paid it to me after I had left the firm. So I've been a believer ever since in mindfulness and growth mindset in the workplace and in the career. And so I just wanted to pass that along to you, and I hope that resonates with somebody today. So thanks for tuning in. Take care.